What's really special for you, Nellie, here?
It's the museum. I love it. It's just breathtaking. I love every single bit of it. And you know, I think it's the best kept secret in Southern Nevada. And I think more people should come and enjoy it the way I do.
And I just want to put in a plug for Boulder City. It's really a fun place. And, you know, right here is the historic Boulder Dam Hotel.
Right.
You know, I don't own any stock in any of this, so I'm just saying that it's really fun. And this is a great old hotel. But there's all these other wonderful little kind of 1940s, 50s kind of motels, too, right here in town.
Yes.
And the town itself is one of these walking towns where you don't have to have a car. You can just walk around.
That's right. Absolutely.
Terrific. Well, thank you for showing us your museum.
Thank you for allowing me to show it.
Next, we'll head southeast on a side road that takes us nearly to the Colorado River to check out a museum located at an underground mine. The first thing that you see when you come into the tiny town of Nelson is this building and this old mine called Chattucket Mine. So we're going to go inside and meet the folks who run this museum and see what it's all about. Tony Worley and his wife Bobby have been on this property for about 11 years and have been doing mine tours for the last few years. So first of all, I've got to ask you, what is Chattucket? What does that mean?
Chattucket is an Indian word that means I'm hungry or give me plenty of.
And so that's a Paiute word?
It's a Paiute word, Southern
Okay.
Paiute, yeah.
So you've got all these photographs and you've got a different sense of history, a different chapter of history down here than on the Comstock.
Yeah, this came in about 1861. And that's when they first discovered the quartz vein that holds the gold and silver. And from there, they basically will start working it right after the Civil War, and they worked it all the way up to World War II. This came out of the Wild Rivers Timeless Canyon. That's where these come out of.
Well, you have some photographs on the wall there that show some Civil War times.
Yeah, yeah. In the early days, basically deserters are the main item out here. There's actually two different camps. There's Buster Falls, which one side's living at, and Lucky Jim's camp on the other side. And the only shots that were ever fired were more verbal, you know. So, but during the Civil War, there were people here.
Well, do those photographs do they show some of the deserters?
Yes. Now, in fact, the pictures that are way back over here, those are those camps, and then we have the first Indians that were out here, the miners that found the vein. We have payrolls of history of the miners through the early years. These pictures here are the mill at the river with the steamboats pulled up to it and the ferry crossings that were on the river for up and down the canyon. And then this is a big map of the 3 miles of tunnels inside the mountain that we're going to take you into. There's levels, it goes 600 feet deep, and there's a level about every 50 to 100 foot in depth, and the tunnels run all over through there.
And this right here is what we're looking at here is the El Dorado Canyon behind us with the Colorado River down there.
Yep. 5 miles down is the Colorado River, and it's just a little windy road that took you to the bottom. There used to be an old marina down there.
We tagged along with a group of tourists who had gathered while we were talking. All of us were eager to get going on the underground part of the tour.
This is the old 1880 tunnel that we're going into. This is one of the main tunnels that they used. In fact, in the 1800s, all the way up to 1900, donkeys would pull ore carts out of this hole here. And from here, they would take them down to the Colorado River where the steamboats, where the mill was, and then the steamboats would later come in and supply the mill from down there. All the way through the 1800s, steamboats would come up and down the Colorado River for 40 years and bring supplies in and out of here. And this was kind of like head of navigation for them at the bottom down here at El Dorado Canyon. This tunnel here is just the entrance on a 200-foot level, and there's actually 3 miles of tunnels inside this hole here, and this was just their main tunnel. But we've got Bureau of Mines inspects us, and we do a lot of school groups and everything in here. It shows Nevada history in the 1800s was mining. Well, you seen the canary. He was alive yesterday. You know.
Yeah. There's actually
In the old days, canaries were used in mines to detect bad air. We just kind of put it up there just to help tell our story. But Nowadays, Bureau of Mines has sensors in here to keep, to test the air. And we have a natural draft that blows through here, which blows out any bad air that would be in here. Down below, we have the wooden ladder down there. They're actually original wooden ladders that we use down there to go down there and change those light bulbs, but they're the ones that the miners used back in the 1800s. It was the main way in and out of any of these shafts back then. We do the paper, rock, scissors things. We go see who's going down there to change those light bulbs from time to time. My wife's lost the last 3 times, but that's the one we use to get down there. In the old days, they would hog-tie donkeys and lower them to the bottom elevations, and it was their job to pull the ore carts around. But they couldn't leave the donkey down there for too long, or it'd actually lose its eyesight from the lack of light. So about every 3 months, they would hog-tie him and drag him back up out of there and take him outside for a time.
Would their eyes readjust?
Yeah. They put blinders on them, and after a while, their eyes would adjust back, and it would be good as good.
Now, Tony, if you fell off the ladder or something, what would happen? How far down would you go?
It actually, this level is the 200-foot level. It actually goes 400 feet lower than this. About every 150 to 100 feet, there's a different level, though. So maybe you wouldn't fall so far.
So you might not die.
But
Okay, now,
you might not die.
Right over your head is the wood. This is original wood?
The wooden timbers, these wooden timbers above our head are actually all original timbers. You can even see they've been cut in with axes. They normally will strip these out of mines, but this was kind of the last of an era, and so there was a lot of original stuff inside the mine. The ore carts are still down at the bottom. The track was still down there. A lot of the chutes were in place, and a lot of this timber was left in here, and so it's really good. These stopped the little rocks from falling off the walls.
Tony, we were just up that way. We came down through here, and I see there's another tunnel that goes off that way. If we had time to go on the whole tour, is that where we'd go?
Yep, you would go down this way, and you would make a turn, and you'd be able to see shafts in the vein, the big quartz veins that the gold and silver really lays in. You'll see ladderways going from this level up to the next level, and just a lot of more history. The white quartz that's in the rock here, you can see some in the ceiling, you can see some rusty lines down the wall and some more quartz veins down there. This is what would hold the gold and silver. On the average, this was a high-grade vein, basically 1 ounce of gold and 17 ounces of silver for a ton of ore, and a ton of ore is about a 55-gallon barrel, to give you an idea. This is what they're chasing, except to get this out, you had to use big power drills like this in this turn of the century, and in the old days you would use a hand 4-pound sledgehammer and a steel drill bit to drill holes and then blast your holes into the solid rock to chase this around. But that's what they're looking for today, back then.
How much gold did they pull out of here?
At today's gold prices, between $80 and $100 million worth of gold and silver has come out of this mine here.
So you call it the oldest and richest?
This is the oldest and richest gold mine in southern Nevada. Now the Comstock lode up in there, it was a silver mine, but there's other richer mines than this one. This is just in southern Nevada, it's the richest. By the turn of the century, the miners realized that to get all the good gold and silver out of the rock, they needed to crush the rock finer than what they've been doing in the 1800s. And so they come up with the ball mill here. What they would do is put the big steel balls inside here, dozens of them, load the rock in from this end here.
That would be the ore from
the ore.
Yeah, the ore right in
and as it came down through here, the big steel balls falling on it would pulverize it all the way to this big mound of white powder over here. This powder is just as fine as flour. From there, they would put the powder into wooden tanks over there and get the gold and silver out of it from there. Then they pumped it back down the canyon. This is what they call mine tailings.
A lot of people don't know about this mine.
Yeah, it was big history back in the early 1900s and stuff. Everybody knew where it was, but for a long time, the history was just forgotten, and the mine was forgotten also. It's turned into quite a thing for us here.